There are a few things that I ask before I decide if I want to buy a game. First, is it the type of game that might have a compelling story? Second, did other people and/or reviewers like the game? Third, is it made by a developer that has made games I've liked before? Fourth and last, is it on sale? Unless you're watching this video podcast style, you probably know what game I'm talking about. What Remains of Edith Finch is an adventure game developed by Giant Sparrow, an independent game company based in Santa Monica.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Before What Remains of Edith Finch, Giant Sparrow was known for their first game, The Unfinished One. But this isn't a review of that game, so I'll just tell you I probably give it a 7 out of 10, alright?
Leave Billy alone!
Like What Remains of Edith Finch, The Unfinished One was well received by gamers and critics, and won 2 BAFTAs in 2013.
Thanks again, Wikipedia.
I enjoyed The Unfinished One, and so I was excited to play Giant Sparrow's follow-up game. You play as, no surprise, Edith Finch, as she returns to the house she inherited to find out the mysterious history of her family. With death as a running theme throughout the game, I got serious The Haunting of Hill House vibes, except like a happy version, if that's even possible. It's a fair comparison as well. One family blames their problems on a haunting, the other blames it on a curse. In both the TV series and this game, uncovering the mysteries becomes the appeal. The stories about the family members eventually become the center of the game, and the way you get to experience them remains interesting and novel throughout. Especially the story about Don't worry, I wasn't gonna spoil it for you. In the 2 reviews that I've done already, I've always had a big negative thing to say. I mean, no game is perfect. What bad thing do I have to say about What Remains of Edith Finch? Nothing, it's perfect. Yeah, I'm joking. I hate the ending. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything. If you watch the final part of my Edith Finch Let's Play, you might understand. I was just underwhelmed by the final revelation. But I'm always open to having my mind changed. Maybe there was something I missed out on. Ideas and plots that might not have clicked in my mind. So I did what you do when you don't understand a movie or game. I searched What Remains of Edith Finch Explained on YouTube. I watched a few videos and I got how there's a theme of being so creatively gifted that a person can lose grip on reality. Thinking it over in my mind, I do get that. This is most likely just me, but I feel like the execution on putting that idea forward wasn't done well. It could be argued that the ideas of the story are there, I just didn't take the time to really stare at everything and look at everything. I would reply with the fact that throughout the game, the story is fed to you with a spoon. Everywhere you look, the character you control says something that furthers the player's understanding of the plot. Why then does it leave its biggest theme up for the player to decipher? Like I said, I think it's an execution thing, and I can think of several examples of games that had a running theme that wasn't very explicit in telling you, but have been shown to the player in a much clearer way. By the credits, I hoped I might have experienced something much more, I don't know, climactic. What I feel I got instead was a reveal that did not give me the catharsis that I looked for. Am I calling this game trash like BioShock Infinite?
Maybe you should watch my review of BioShock Infinite to find out, eh?
One thing I can say I loved about the game was the attention to detail when it came to making the world. Like BioShock Infinite's Columbia, the Finch's residence felt like a real place because of the amount of care that was put into building it. The little details on every shelf and table make you really feel like you are Edith Finch returning to an abandoned place you once called home. Apart from the meticulousness
Is that a word?
of the house, I also loved how the different personalities of the family members you find out about is reflected. The overall design of the Finch house was done beautifully, and it made it easy for me to keep existing in the world. The interaction you have with the world also keeps you engaged. There aren't any silly puzzles added just to give you something to do.
To the moon and finding paradise.
Like many narrative-based indie games, What Remains of Edith Finch doesn't dwell too much on your tracking, aim and blink management as a Lena Oxton player.
I'll be Tracer. I'm already Tracer.
Nor does it want you to utilize all of your brain synapses to do line puzzles.
Oh my days, I'm never gonna finish this game.
Rather, Edith Finch takes you on a journey through the house of the Finch family, Opening doors and crawling under spaces might be the extent of the action, but the way the character reacts further puts you in their shoes. Now for my review. Did I like the game? Yes, because I don't dislike it. But do I think the game is good? That question for me is a lot harder to answer. Just like my favorite anime reviewer here on YouTube, for me the ending is paramount. If an ending is good, I would never mention it. To avoid spoilers, of course. Just like the amazing ending in I really enjoyed most of the game, but the way the story slowly amps up to an exciting close and then ends on an uneventful reveal left a sour taste. I think this will be one of my most biased reviews I've ever made. That's why I'm going full opinion on this one.
Now it makes sense to why I decided to call these opinionated reviews.
I'm only going to give a my personal feeling score. That's because I don't think I can give a score that is representative of what everyone might feel. So please, take what I say with a grain of salt. If you are interested in the game, go ahead and play it and find out for yourself. I don't ever want to make anybody not want to try a game just because of my crappy opinion. So here it goes. I give the game a my personal feeling score of 5 out of 10. I got a mostly fun experience but was left with deep disappointment, probably because of my own expectations. Why do I have to make these reviews so sad? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. I always invite viewers to comment down below on your thoughts about the game I just reviewed, or anything else you want to say about the channel. I'm going to keep uploading Let's Plays and video reviews just because this is an outlet for me to talk about games. Hopefully anyone who has watched this long can join me on this cool adventure I've got going on YouTube. Anyways, as a UK mandem, I just want to say safe man.